Hello YouTube friends! So I wanted to be lazy today and do nothing, but our internet isn't working and apparently my lazy includes internet. So instead we're going to be productive and open up another old art subscription box. So this is SKETCHBOX from July of 2018. So yeah, quite old. So, pan pastels. If you just saw my video, I think, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, I did regular pastels and that didn't work out so well. I've heard good things about pan pastels, however, so it looks like we have a really dark color, maybe a black, extra suave, extra suave, ultra soft. Okay. Ooh, that's pretty. Yep, black and red iron oxide. Interesting colors. These soft sponges that usually go with the pan pastels. Ooh, the artwork. I don't think I'm going to be making that with black and red iron oxide. They must have had different colors. Although, yeah, we got a bunch of pencils in here, so maybe. Okay, more chalk pencils. A light gray in generals, a black in generals, sepia light in Koh-i-Noor, and some kind of yellow, ivory in Crete color. Pastel pencils. Magic rub erasers. And their sticker. List of supplies. So apparently these magic rub erasers are delicate enough not to damage the paper and powerful enough to remove the pastel completely. It doesn't come with paper, so luckily I have a 24 pack from that box I didn't like so much. I'll link that there again. And we'll see what we can come up with. Alright, so here's the big thing of pastel paper that we got in the palettefull packs. So we'll just pull a sheet out and test out our supplies. First up are the pan pastels, and I do have to say with these makeup sponges, it is actually really fun to put these on the paper. They go into the texture of the paper so nicely with these sponges, so it just makes the application really easy. And it's still a little messy, there's still a little powder on the paper, but not as bad as these chalk pencils themselves and the other regular pastels. And you can see the eraser only kind of sort of works, plus you still have the eraser dust to get rid of. So I just wasn't really into pastels, just thought I would do like a night desert scene, some mountains, and the black in person looks a lot blacker, so I'm not sure on the video why it's so gray. It must be my lighting. And so then I just used the pencils at the end to stick in those highlights on the mountains and some trees, so they were kind of fun. Alright, that's unpleasant. We're going to call that good. So I'm going to keep the pan pastels, the soft sponges, probably even the pencils, because I use them sometimes over the top of other things, and then these are good. These pan pastels here are good for the backgrounds of colored pencil drawings. So even though they're messy, they're less messy than the handheld chalk pastels, and I really like the way they apply. They really get into the grooves of the paper, and that's really nice. But I don't like pastels in general, apparently. So we're keeping all of this. So that's good. I'm just not going to pull them out and use them for actual pastel pieces, because I don't like it. But anyway, short and sweet, we're just keeping it like that. Since that pan pastel sketch box didn't take very long because I wasn't going to play with pastels any longer than that, we might as well do another old box. This one is from March of 17 and it is the basic box, so let's see what's inside. Purple waterproof fade proof pigment based drawing ink. Violet. Paintbrush. I love paintbrushes. Princeton. I like Princeton paintbrushes. Alright, a gel extreme. The artwork. List of supplies. Ooh, watercolor postcards by Strathmore. Nice. And a very bent sticker. Okay, so these are 140 pounds 4x6, and you get 15 of them. They are not cotton, or they would say so if they were. Let's give this stuff a try. So we're going to try out the purple ink first, and this is kind of fun. Just putting water on the paper and seeing what happens. Grab the edges. So I repeated that twice more, and kind of a flower thing. I was in my head kind of thinking of a pansy, but this definitely turns out more like a clover, but that's okay. We were just playing with ink disbursement in water and seeing how the brush worked and how dark the ink would become. Last note on this, it dries much more dull than it is when it's wet. So it's, you know, typical of many things that are water-based like that. So it's kind of matte as well. So keep that in mind if you're going to use Higgins ink to do your projects. They're really light fast, however, so that is something to keep in mind. And I was just going to leave it at that, but I couldn't. That just felt like a total cop-out on that purple ink, so I ended up doing a full-on project with that. So I pulled out the big guns, being my Arches 140 pound, 100% cotton, cold press watercolor paper, and decided to do this elephant. And I wanted to keep some of the lights super light, so I did use my PBO masking fluid, and it's called PBO drawing gum if you're looking for it online. And I will link that in the description box as well. And then here you can see I did some tests with dropping water into it, and then also using a scrubber brush to see if I could pull up any of the ink after it's dry, and it comes up pretty well. It does. My scrubber brush is pretty stiff, so it does kind of eat the paper if I'm not too careful, but it works. So I had some light reflections that I was thinking I might pull up. Ended up not using it in that way, but that's alright. So here I'm using my hockey brush, and I wet the whole thing, and I'm just pulling ink into spots, and you can see that light reflection that I'm trying to bring in from the top left. And trying to get my darks dark enough was really challenging with this ink. It, you know, goes on at first really what seems like it's dark, and then it really lightens up a lot. So even on this Arches paper, or maybe because of the Arches paper, it just really lightens up. So I went back repeatedly over and over again, trying to get my darks dark enough. And then you saw a little bit ago I did drop some water droplets in the background to try and get that bokeh effect, but didn't really like it, so I did kind of go back over that with the brush and some water to basically even it out. So I just keep adding more ink and just trying to darken things up and darken things up and darken things up. So it was an ongoing process, and then at the end there I think I got his snout a little too dark, and I did try and pull that up later, but it's still pretty dark. I don't know. It's okay. And then I wanted him to stand out, so I keep going back over and over the background as well. You'll see that in a minute. Trying to get it darker behind him. You can see that there. So I do that more than once, and then trying to get his eye and ear shape right, and it is challenging. Working with this ink was different. I'm glad I did this project, but I don't know. It's not my favorite. It's not like my favorite watercolors, you know. It's just it's fun. It was fun to do a project, but it's okay. And here I'm just using masking tape to pull up the masking fluid, and there is the final piece. So thank you so much for joining me. Have you tried this Higgins ink, and what did you think? And like and subscribe down below if you want to see more videos like this. Really appreciate it. See you in the next one.